We have some breaking news coming to you, Winnipeg Jets fans, today. On July 18th, 2025, Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Winnipeg Jets have agreed to terms with forward Gabriel Vilardi on a 6-year contract. And I'll let you guys know this right now. I absolutely love this deal for the Winnipeg Jets. I think it is an absolute steal. We're going to be talking all about Gabe Vilardi, why he's such an important piece of this Winnipeg Jets roster, and on top of that, why I absolutely love the deal that he just signed. But before we hop into it, I couldn't help but notice it looks like 85.6% of people watching the videos here on Jets Digest were not subscribed to the channel. I'd highly suggest you throw a subscription. We're going to be talking Jets all throughout the offseason, and a subscription is the best way to make sure that you do stay informed. So let's hop into the video now. We're going to be talking a little bit about the trade. First of all, we'll get to the deal right away, but I just wanted to give my little tip of the cap over to Kevin Cheveldayoff on the deal that brought Gabe Vilardi over to the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, trading away a guy like Pierre-Luc Dubois, who at that point was a distressed asset, saying he does not want to play for the Winnipeg Jets ever again, and getting back a guy like Gabe Vilardi, who, for my money, has already provided more value than Pierre-Luc Dubois ever did to the Winnipeg Jets. If this was a 1-for-1 trade, I'd be happy with it. But on top of that, you're also getting back Alex Iafallo, a guy who has become the Swiss Army knife for the Winnipeg Jets, playing wherever they need him in that forward core, can play up and down the lineup. And on top of that, he has re-signed with the Jets on a team-friendly deal. He seems to like it here. A great addition to this trade. You then also do have Rasmus Kupari. Unfortunately, couldn't cut it in the NHL, but the Jets do still own his rights, and if he does want to make a comeback, he can either come to the Jets or the Jets can trade him away. And on top of that, you do also get that second-round pick in 2024, which was used on Alphonse Frey, who is a pretty decent prospect, defenseman from Sweden. But alas, we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about Lardo. We're here to talk about Gabe Vilardi. So let's hop over to the announcement, the tweet that comes out from Elliot Freeman, where he says, Gabe Vilardi, 6 times $7.5 million, and he avoids arbitration with the Jets. Now, this is just a little, a small thing, but I also think it's very key to this deal, is avoiding arbitration. First of all, arbitration can sometimes have a negative effect on the relationship between a player and a team. Think about it, you're going to your employer saying, hey, I think I deserve this much money for this reason, and this reason. And they come back to you and say, we don't think you deserve that money because of this reason, and this reason. Yeah, it is a little silly. It is just business, but in the past, it has kind of soured relationships a little bit. So avoiding that is very, very good, in my opinion. And on top of that, the max deal that you would have been able to get, that the Jets would have been able to get in arbitration, would have been for 2 years, which would just take Gabe Vilardi to his UFA status, and he could walk for free after that. So getting a deal done before arbitration also allows the Jets to sign him for a longer-term deal, which, of course, we see here, signing him for 6 years, which, in my mind, is the perfect amount of term to give a guy like Gabe Vilardi. He's currently 26 years old. He is a guy who has, in the past, had some back injuries, and with the style of play that he has, a guy who goes into the corners, plays kind of in the rougher areas, cross-checks in front of the net. I think he's a guy whose body is maybe going to degrade a little bit quicker than maybe a guy like Mark Scheifele, who's a little bit more of a skilled player. So I think that 6 years is great. It'll take him from 26 all the way to 32. And you're locking up a bunch of those UFA years, 4 years to be exact. And also in general, by the time you're 32, you're out of your prime anyways. So avoiding 2 extra years where he's an injury risk and will likely not provide the amount of value that we're seeing right now, I think is great. I think 6 years is perfect for the Winnipeg Jets. So now let's talk a little bit about Gabe Vilardi as the player. Let's pull up his stat sheet from last year. Of course, he played in 71 games. He had 27 goals, 34 assists for 61 points, becoming a key part of that top line, playing with Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele, giving them a little bit more grit, a guy who can go into the corners, get the puck, and set these guys up for some immaculate scoring chances. And where I think that Gabe Vilardi provides his biggest value, we can hop over to his JFresh chart here, and I think it mentions it here, is his usage on the power play. So very quickly, if you're looking at this JFresh chart and you've never seen one before, in general, blue is good. Any sort of percentage you see, that is his percentile in the league. So if you see his projected WAR, which is wins above replacement, that's just a general stat. He is a 93 percentile player. So the value that he provides to his team is in the 93rd percentile of all players in the NHL, which makes sense. He's a top line player. He's super impactful. And I'm going to get back now to talking about the power play, which is where I think he's had the biggest influence on the Winnipeg Jets. A couple years ago, after the departure of, Dustin Byfuglien, Patrick Laine, the Winnipeg Jets power play was abysmal. Despite the fact them being, a team that was constantly making playoffs, their power play was in the bottom third of the league very frequently. Fast forward to the first year where Gabriel Vilardi gets an actual full season with the Winnipeg Jets this past year. The Jets, obviously, President's Trophy winning team. But on top of that, their power play was number 1 in the league. And I think that Gabriel Vilardi added another element to it in the fact that he plays this kind of goal line position that allows Mark Scheifele to have, another option. And when the puck gets sent down to him, he has tons of options he can do. He can hit Kyle Connor across the ice if no one's defending him for a crazy across the ice and, north-south style pass, which is one of the most dangerous style passes in front. And he can get his one-timer off. If no one's covering, I guess it'll be Cole Perfetti this next season probably, who's in the slot. He can hit him. If everyone else is covered, he can just drive the net. He's scored a couple very beautiful goals, a little between the legs flick kind of thing. And on top of that, he can also just be there to provide another option for Scheifele and also, tip and screen for shots coming from Josh Morrissey. So super duper impactful on the power play. And if we look at the rest of his JFresh chart, you can see a lot of blue here. He's a good finisher. He scores a lot of goals. He gets a lot of assists. He draws a ton of penalties, which makes sense considering the way he plays on the boards. Defenders get frustrated trying to take the puck from this guy. Somehow this guy could stick handle inside of a tiny little box, inside of a phone booth is the classic thing. He plays against good competition, but he plays with good teammates. So we love Gabe Vilardi. And also, on top of that, let's talk about the amount of money he's going to be making. He's going to be making $7.5 million, which on the current cap right now, the current cap, salary cap in the NHL is $95.5 million. 7.5 million is 7.8% of the cap. But we can take a look at this other tweet coming out from Elliot Freeman where he mentions the estimates for the next 3 seasons. We already talked about the 95.5 mil, but we're not in the COVID era anymore. The cap is jumping. So after this year, it's supposed to jump almost $10 million up to $104 million. At that point, this, the $7.5 million will be just under 7.5%. And then the next year, it could go all the way up to 113.5. By then, it'll be only 6.6% of the cap. That is a fantastic deal. And again, adding in all of the other aspects of this deal, the fact that it takes him to, it signs him for his free agent years, his unrestricted free agent years. It gets all of his prime under the Jets. And on top of that, mitigating risks on the far end of the contract. This is some tidy business done by Kevin Cheveldayoff. I'd love to know what you guys think about this deal. We're going to be talking Jets all throughout the offseason. Throw a subscription. Make sure you actually throw a like. The like is very super duper important to the YouTube algorithm. We'd really appreciate it. But regardless, I hope you guys have a wonderful summer. We'll be here breaking everything down as it does come out here on Jets Digest. Have a great one.